A George Floyd mural was just struck down by lightning. Some say it might be biblical. Let's get into it. This is pretty crazy. But since we're talking about the possibility of supernatural, I thought I would do something a little different and fun as a bonus on the end of this video. So if you want to stick around, we always talk about serious stuff, and I love a good ghost story. So if you want to stick around after this topic, I will tell you my own personal experience with the supernatural. Or maybe, I don't know. It's just something that happened. Maybe it's a ghost story. Maybe there's an explanation, but it happened to me, and I've never, ever been able to come up with an explanation for it. But I thought that would be fun and a little different. So if you want to hang out after this, I'll tell that story when we're done with this one. So this happened yesterday in Toledo, Ohio. So I'll read to you. This is from a local news report, and then I'll show you the picture of what happened. It says, a mural honoring George Floyd erected at Summit in LaGrange in Toledo collapsed on Tuesday. According to Toledo police, witnesses say it was destroyed by a lightning strike. 13 ABC's Doppler radar did show a lightning strike in that block about 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday, but there are conflicting reports on what may have caused the collapse. So some people are saying the building was just really old and not really in good shape, so that's why it collapsed. What else are people saying? The mural was painted nearly 1 year to the date of its collapse. Groups have held memorial services there for Floyd. Blah, blah, blah. The building itself is structurally sound to a City of Toledo's building inspector. The building's owner is working to clean up the bricks. And okay, so that's basically what happened. And if you want to see the weather, the hour by hour weather around that area, here it is. And you can see what's crazy is it wasn't this giant, huge storm that happened in Toledo. If you look at it, it was sunny with just scattered showers. And now here is the picture of the building itself. You can see that the mural is completely destroyed. And some are saying this was God that did this. And, I don't know. I don't know what I believe, but this is a pretty crazy thing that happened. And no matter what you believe in, you do have to say what has been happening this past year with the left. Some of it does sort of feel biblical. It feels like we are sort of collapsing on ourselves as a society, whether it's the left-wing media that is completely almost to the point of encouraged riots, and what has happened with BLM. And if you look, like, their approval has gone down tremendously. And what is so odd about BLM is that they take people like George Floyd, and George Floyd should never have died. Everyone was sad about what happened to him, and a lot of people were really angry about what happened to him. And this is actually one instance where the left and the right kind of came together. No matter what your personal beliefs, I have my own personal beliefs. I'm just telling you what happened as a whole. But this is the one instance where the left and the right actually came together, and everyone was like, this isn't okay. We're not happy about this. We want justice. And even still, we saw some of the biggest riots that we have seen in a long time. Half of my neighborhood was burnt down. Minneapolis was burnt down. I don't know how many others were burnt down. 20-some people passed away in these riots or were killed in these riots. And you saw our media kind of suppress the negativity about what was happening. But regular Americans are like, whoa, this isn't right. And someone like George Floyd, again, I'm not saying that he should have died. Anyone that dies or that passes away or is killed, it's a tragedy. And he did have a little girl. But this is someone that we saw murals go up all over the U.S. We saw statues erected. Even where I lived on Sunset Boulevard, I walk past it every single day. There was a huge billboard with George Floyd's name or George Floyd's face on it on Sunset Boulevard. I walk past this every single day. And this is a person that once terrorized and held a weapon to a pregnant woman's stomach. This is someone that did drugs, that was in and out of jail. And this is someone who, I think he had like an 8-ball of something in his mouth and was behind the wheel when this happened and was using a counterfeit using counterfeit money to try to purchase things at the convenience store nearby. So this was not a martyr, yet this is someone that they are propping up and making murals and making statues and billboards. And a lot of people, the normal person, is like, yeah, this is not cool. And BLM as an organization, they will prop people like George Floyd up, people like Jacob Blake, who was at his ex's apartment at the time terrorizing her, who had a restraining order against her, who had her kids in the car and was leaving against her will for her kids at the time. And these are people that they prop up. I think Jacob Blake's name was on the helmet of football players in the NFL. And regular Americans see this and they don't like it. And I think that's why people are saying this is biblical. This is God striking down on this George Floyd mural. And if you are somebody that uses one of these individuals as a martyr, if you prop this person up as a saint, then you, my friend, are a lost soul. And that seems to be what the left media and even what a lot of our politicians are doing. And we are lost and backwards as a society. And I think that's where some people feel like what is happening, just sort of the climate right now, is almost biblical. It seems like society is imploding on itself, and what should be bad is now good, and what should be good is now bad. It feels backwards. So you can see why some people think this is God striking down. And I will say it's a little weird. It is a little weird how, at 4:30 in the afternoon with sunny with just scattered storms, how a lightning strikes on that one place. It's a little weird. Just saying. It's a little weird. And another thing about BLM and how you know that they don't actually care about Black lives is how many kids have been gunned down since this started. You never hear anything about them. How many businesses were burnt down in the riots? How many people lost their lives? One little girl lost her life in the riots. You never heard any of the leaders of any of the chapters of BLM coming out and speaking up for these people. And all of the money that was donated to BLM, you never saw it go back into any communities. You never saw it go to some of these families. Some of them have even come up and complained about this and called BLM out, saying, you're using my child's name for your organization to get donations, but I never saw any of that money. All the little kids that have been gunned down, they never come out and speak about that. Never come out and speak against the businesses, all the businesses that were burnt down in the riots in the name of BLM. Did any of those donations go back into those businesses? Did they ever come out and say, stop rioting, stop looting? Or did they ever build community centers or anything of the likeness? They never, ever did. Yet if you speak out against the organization of BLM, you are called all kinds of names. You are shamed. I've experienced it myself. Okay, so here's a video, and it's saying, witnesses are saying that it was struck by lightning and then it collapsed. So you do with that what you will. Let me know what you guys think about this story. Couldn't not share it with you. Okay, now for the bonus. I'll tell you my personal ghost story since we're on the subject. So I don't know what I believe in as far as ghosts and the supernatural. I'm always open to anything. I've just never seen proof of it, I guess, or sometimes it feels a little bit out there. But again, I'm open to everything, and this story I'm going to tell you sort of made me a believer because I just can't explain it. I do think that some supernatural occurrences are explained by like energy fields. For instance, I know limestone causes a lot of things to happen, and there is something called a gravity hill. So where I grew up in Georgia, there was an urban legend at this place called Booger Hill, and it was said that ghosts sort of roam around the area, and it's an actual hill. And the legend is if you park your car at the bottom of the hill and put it in neutral, ghosts will push your car up the hill. But if you look into it a little more, this is kind of a natural occurrence. It's called a gravity hill, and it's sort of like a magnetic thing. I don't really know the interworkings of it, but it's called a gravity hill, and there are several of them all over the United States. I'm sure all over the world, but you can look it up. So I do think some things like that are explained away by sort of natural or energy things, I guess. But here's what happened to me. So my dad passed away when I was in my 20s. He had cancer, and I hadn't really talked to him for a while before he passed away. We were kind of estranged. He had maybe some mental issues or other things that were going on with him, which is why we didn't speak. But and my parents got divorced when I was 3. So at the time, I was living in Denver, Colorado with my boyfriend. He was living in Pennsylvania. My uncle called me to tell me that he was really sick and he was in the hospital and he didn't have that much longer. So I immediately flew out to be with him. Come to find, he hadn't gone to the doctor for a really long time, so he went to the hospital for pain and just some weird stuff that was going on. They found cancer all over his body, so they were getting ready to set him up with chemo, and then his colon burst. So that pretty much did him in. At that point, he was in a medically induced coma and basically had days to live at that point, because once your colon bursts, it's just pumping poison throughout your whole body, and he was already really sick. So I went out to be with him, and he ended up passing away a few days later. When he passed away, obviously there's a lot to do when a family member passes away with their belongings and just all of that stuff. So when he passed away, I went to his place and grabbed a bunch of belongings that were sentimental to me or things that I might want to keep. And out of the things I grabbed, some of them were kind of, I don't know why I grabbed them. They were just kind of junk. So, when I got home, I separated all the things, and some of those things ended up in the bottom of a junk basket in my kitchen. I don't know if I used to have a junk basket, and that's where just all kinds of stuff went. And it had been there for a year. So fast forward a year later, it had been, these items had been at the bottom of this junk basket for a year. One of those items was like an old pair of dusty reading glasses that I don't even think he used. So those are the type of things that were at the bottom. Well, anyway, fast forward a year, I was living with my boyfriend. We lived in this really old, it was actually really cool. It was 100-year-old house. But it was really creaky, and I'm a scaredy cat. So anytime he was out of town, I would sleep downstairs on the couch with the TV on and all the lights on. So I'd get like my toothbrush, everything I needed for the night. I would use the downstairs bathroom, and that's where I would stay because I'm a scaredy cat. Not that anything ever happened there. I'm just a scaredy cat. So my boyfriend was out of town on a work conference, and I was staying home and was doing my normal routine. So it was about 8 p.m. and one of the things that my dad left behind, I'll put it for you right here. I'll play it really low. So that's my dad playing the guitar. He was a really amazing, talented guitar player. So one of the things that my sister and I found after he passed away was we found a digital camera, and on that digital camera we found this video and a few more videos of him playing the guitar. So it was at night, 8 p.m., and I just happened to watch this video, and when I was watching it, I had a little bit of a cry, just like a healthy, kind of nice, like, oh, that's my dad, little cry. And then, I shut my computer, I got all my stuff, I headed downstairs, did a few other things, and then eventually went to sleep. So I wake up the next morning, brush my teeth, I go into the kitchen, which is close to the living room, obviously. I go into the kitchen, and I go into the fridge, I'm making breakfast, and all of a sudden I see something out of the corner of my eye. And I knew that this thing was not supposed to be there because I was in the kitchen the night before. I was cleaning up. I know what my kitchen looked like the night before. And I see it out of the corner of my eye. I immediately get like a heat rush that comes over me, like a heat wave, or I don't know what you call it. And my stomach dropped and all my hair stood up. I had goosebumps. And I looked at it, and it was a pair of my dad's glasses that had been at the bottom of that basket for a year, and there was junk all on top of it. I mean, this thing was filled up. The glasses were outside of the basket, about 8 to 10 inches away from the basket, undone like that, and put upside down on the counter like someone had just taken them off and put them down. And I remember the night before, there is no possible explanation for how they got there. I don't know what happened, but this is just one of those things that I have never, ever, ever been able to explain. Even though I know what the kitchen looked like the night before because I cleaned it, I even called my boyfriend to say, have you ever touched these glasses? Have you messed with them? And he was like, no, I didn't even know that they were in there. So that's my little supernatural story. Let me know what you think happened. My boyfriend at the time doesn't believe in stuff like that. And he was like, you probably sleptwalked and did that. I was like, sleepwalk? I have never once in my life walked in my sleep, and I forgot that the glasses were there too. Why would I go in the bottom of this basket and take the glasses and do that? I even tried to, even though I know this didn't happen, I even tried to, okay, what if I was getting something out of the basket and they fell out? And every way you drop the glasses, they do not fall that way, where they are open and upside down and gently placed on the table. So that was my little ghost story. I know that was a little bit different. If you stuck, if you stuck around, thank you. But let me know what you think might have happened. I've never been able to figure it out. I actually have a picture of the glasses somewhere, but it's on an old cell phone in California. So I wish I could show that to you, but I can't right now. But anyway, I hope you guys have a fabulous day. Let me know what you think happened, because I can't figure it out for the life of me. And let me know what you think about that George Floyd lightning strike thing. Is it biblical, or is it just a coincidence? Anyway, I'll see you later. Bye.